What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Fearlessnick YouTube channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my round 13 2022 AFL tips / predictions, and obviously as well as that, we're going to be going over my round 12 tips from last week and see how I went. Before the video starts, if you could please leave a like, share and subscribe. We are on the road to 300 subscribers, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you could hit that big red button down below. Apologies, I do sound a tiny bit under the weather and I sound a bit different. Apologies. I'm battling a cold at the moment, so yeah, just bear with me. Hope you enjoy it nonetheless. And yeah, without any further ado, let's get stuck in away! So like we do every week on the Fearlessnick tipping videos, we review the previous round. In this case, it was round 12. Obviously, it was a shortened round due to all the buys and all that. I got 4 out of 6 for round 12. Not a bad effort. 4 is actually a decent score if you've got the bye rounds. But nonetheless, first game of the round from round 12, we had the Bulldogs and the Cats. This was a really interesting game. The Cats at the start were on top of the game. They looked at the peak. They looked at their very best. It's fair to say in the basically the first half, the Cats and yeah, the Dogs didn't look up for it in that first half, did they? They looked a bit under the weather themselves. And the Cats probably pushing for that top 4 spot now, really putting themselves back in that top 4 conversation. But nonetheless, yeah, got that tip wrong. I tipped the Bulldogs, thinking they would deliver a good result. They absolutely didn't. But yeah, nonetheless, got that tip wrong. Next game at Adelaide Oval, we got the Crows and the Eagles, and I don't really have much to say about this game. I didn't watch this game at all. Adelaide just too good for West Coast at the moment. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. The Crows just the better side. Tip the Crows. I'm not really going to tip the Eagles many times this year. I don't think many people will. Yeah, but nonetheless, got that tip right there. Pretty comfortable win for the Crows. Next game in Darwin, we had the Gold Coast Suns and North Melbourne. Again, not really much to say. Gold Coast just the better side. North Melbourne did actually start really well. That's kind of hard to believe. But yeah, the Suns just too good. I think it was that second quarter, from quarter time onwards, I think the Suns just absolutely dominated. I didn't watch this game, so I don't exactly know. But yeah, nonetheless, the Suns were too good for North Melbourne in Darwin. Their second game in Darwin this year, the Suns. Next game at the MCG, we had a very interesting game. This was very tight and it was a really good game for the neutral supporters. It was the D's up against the Swans. The Swans in a big upset the D's by 12 points at the MCG. Yeah, what a win by the Swans. That was a crazy final quarter. It went down to the wire, but I think the Swans kicked at least the last 3, maybe the last 4 goals off the match to secure them a season-changing win over Melbourne. And the D's, yeah, they're in a bit of a form slump, much like last year, or pretty much this time last year. The D's in a similar form slump. They've dropped 2 in a row now though, so they'll want to get back to that winning form for sure. Next game of the MCG, we had Hawthorn up against Collingwood. This was another really, really good game. I only watched a part of it though, because I had to study for exams and all that. But yeah, from what I saw, I think I watched that third quarter. Hawthorn were up by a couple of points, but it seemed like Collingwood was slowly starting to crawl back in and start to claw their way back. And yeah, they did. I didn't see the finish, but apparently it was very, very intense. And yeah, the Pies got up by 4 points. And yeah, that did me a world of good in terms of my tips for this round, because I really needed that to get back on track. And yeah, the Pies came through for me at my tips. And the final game of round 12, obviously a shortened round, like I said, because of the buys. Freo and Brisbane at Optus Stadium. A couple of people were questioning me for tipping Freo in this game, but I almost changed to Brisbane for the second time this year. I didn't though. I stuck with Fremantle. Basically, I would have maybe changed to Brisbane because of Freo's outs, but I stuck by my gut feel, which was Freo, and they got the job done, the Dockers, and what a fortnight they have had, the Dockers. They've knocked off Melbourne at the MCG, who are first, and they've knocked off Brisbane, who are second at Optus Stadium. So, flag mantle, maybe. They are a genuine sniff at the moment, the Dockers, for that premiership. But nonetheless, those were my round 12 tips. Like I said, I got 4 out of 6 for this round. Comment down below how you did as well. And yeah, those were my round 12 tips. Now let's move on to the round 13. Alrighty, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Round 13, the second week of the buys. So first game, Thursday night footy is back, baby. Let's go. Thursday night footy, it is the Tigers taking on Port Adelaide. Bit of a blockbuster in this one. Richmond obviously just came off the bye, so did Port Adelaide actually, so that doesn't make any difference. It's at the MCG at 7:20. I will be watching this game because I will have finished my exams by then. Yeah, massive game in terms of the top 8 race at the moment. It's 10th v 12, as you can see around there. Port Adelaide did get the better of Richmond last year. I think it was round 4 or something. But yeah, they won by a couple of points. We often have really good matches against Port Adelaide, but at the MCG, I'm confident that the Tigers will get up here, and I'm going to tip the Tigers in this one. It'll be a close one. I'm going to say 11 points. I think we will be too strong for Port Adelaide. But Port Adelaide, they could shock a few teams this year. They've had a really good run of form leading into the bye. I think they've only lost one game, and I think that was to Geelong in the last 5 or 6 weeks. So, yeah, they're in some really good form, Port, but I'm going to tip the Tigers by, actually, no, not 11 points. I'm going to say 16 points. I think if the Tigers win, it'll be by a decent margin. It won't be that close. I think, yeah, we'll just prevail in the end over the Power. I think the Power could win this if they play their best footy, but I'm going to tip the Tigers in that one over the Power. I'm confident the Tigers will get the job done there. Next game at the MCG as well, we got the Bombers up against Carlton, the traditional rivals, going at it in this one. The Bombers, like I say, like most of us have noticed and how they're going this year, pretty awful, the Bombers this year. They've been pretty deplorable with their efforts. Anyway, Essendon's last game was against Port Adelaide, and yeah, they really just got trounced, except for that third quarter though, when it started to rain. The Bombers actually decided to show up for once, which was yeah, kind of good to see, because they've had a bit of a rough run, the Bombers. However, saying that, Carlton will want to win this game, and they will want to win it comfortably, because if they win this, the Blues, they're back in the top 4, and if they get a big win, it could really help them increase their percentage, because yeah, the Blues, they really need it, because the teams around them have got some really big percentages, and I think the Blues will want to improve that. Yeah, I don't really see a Bombers upset, so I'm going to tip the Blues in this one by around 15. I think the Bombers might show something, and with no Jacob Wiedering, it might be easier for guys like Peter Wright to influence the game. But yeah, I think the Blues should be right in this one. And yeah, I think they'll be hungry for that top 4 spot. So yeah, I think the Blues will be too good for the Bombers in that one. Next game at Optus Stadium, we've got the Dockers up against Hawthorn. The flying Fremantle Dockers, we should probably call them at the moment, because they are flying Fremantle. They have just knocked off probably the top 2 sides in the comp right now, and have really established themselves as that premiership contender. Can you believe it? Whereas the Hawks, they've struggled the last couple of weeks. They narrowly lost to Collingwood last week. However, saying that, yeah, they actually played alright, and they just couldn't get that last crack at it, the Hawks. The Dockers are probably they're the much better side on paper. However, saying that, it could rain, and that's the one word Freo don't like to hear, rain. That is the one word they don't like to hear at all. And Hawthorn, the team, is the sort of team that can upset teams. You know, they came very close to Melbourne, they beat Brisbane, they beat Geelong as well, and yeah, they came pretty close to Carlton and Collingwood, and yeah, they also beat Port Adelaide. So they are actually an upset team, Hawthorn, and they can surprise a few teams. However, with the current form of Freo and the current form of Hawthorn, Freo have been a lot better. So I'm going to say the Dockers will win that one over Hawthorn. However, that has upset potential because the Hawks, if it rains, the Hawks are definitely a sniff. But I think if it doesn't, the Dockers should be fine in that one. I'm going to say Freo by 28 points. They'll be too strong for the Hawks, I reckon. Saturday night at the Gabba, we got the Lions and the Saints. This has massive implications on the top four as well. Brisbane obviously wanting to secure their top 2 spot at the moment, along with Melbourne. Freo, for Brisbane's sake, they need Freo to lose to Hawthorn. St Kilda. If they win, they will overtake Geelong, and they could potentially, or if Freo lose, they could potentially level with Brisbane. They will level with Brisbane if they win this game, and if Freo lose. However, at the Gabba, the Lions, we know how tough the Lions are to beat at the Gabba. They rarely lose there. And the Saints, they've come off a bye, I think, so they should be fresh. But I think, Brisbane should be all right in this one. You know what? Actually, no, screw it. I'm going to tip St Kilda. Because I feel like this game has upset potential. I know I didn't tip Brisbane last week, but I don't know. The Saints got something about them, the Saints. They're another team similar to Hawthorn. They can upset a few teams, but I think they're better than Hawthorn because they've obviously been more consistent. But you know what? I watched Cardi's video, and I agree. I reckon the Saints are actually a genuine sniff here. I reckon it might not come off, but you got to be bold, I think. And I'm going to tip the Saints in an upset over Brisbane. That'll be huge. I'm going to tip the Saints by 11 points, and I feel like if Max King gets up there and kicks a few goals and opens up the game for the Saints, if they can win it out the middle and stop Brisbane's forward line, I think Danaher's not going to play. Don't know about McStay. Hipwood hasn't hit his form yet. They're every chance, the Saints. Although I can see Brisbane winning this so easily. But nonetheless, upset. Saints to win over Brisbane, I reckon. Marvel Stadium on Sunday, the first of the Sunday games. The only Sunday game, I must say. We've got North and the Giants, and I don't think I really need to talk about this game. The Giants have been the way better side this year. North are an absolute shambles. However, saying that, these two did actually draw last year in one of the only draws of the year. The Giants, though, under McVeigh, have been so much better than North. North are like a VFL side, I think it's pretty fair to say. And I think the Giants will win this comfortably. I'm going to say the Giants by 44 points. And the Giants will just be too strong in that one. I'm going to tip the Giants pretty easily, I think. I don't see North winning that. And on Monday, on Queen's Birthday Monday, the Queen's Birthday clash between Collingwood and Melbourne. This is an absolute blockbuster. Melbourne have come off 2 losses in a row, and the Collingwood have come off 3 wins in a row. So if there's any better time to play Melbourne, it's right now. Collingwood, they'll be feeling confident with their chance to get the D's. They beat the D's last year, the Pies over in Sydney, and they historically have a very good record against the D's on Queen's Birthday. I think they've won I think they've won 5 of the last 6 or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not. The D's will want to bounce back. I said they would bounce back last week. They didn't. I can see Collingwood winning this, to be honest. But the D's, they got to respond eventually. I know Stephen May's out. I know Tom McDonald's out. I feel like if the D's stop Mason Cox, even without Stephen May, and obviously Grundy's not playing for Collingwood, but that doesn't really matter at the moment. DeGoey and Sidebottom have been really good for Collingwood. I'm going to tip Melbourne, though. I'm going to go the boring option and tip Melbourne. I think they're bound to bounce back at some point, Melbourne, and I feel like, they will they will rise to the occasion. I hope we get a big crowd though. I hope we get a really big crowd. It'll be a really good game. But I'm going to tip Melbourne in a very close one by 4 points. And yeah, I think Petrarca's going to stand up after having a couple of poor weeks. Oliver's going to dominate. I reckon Bailey Fritsch is in for a big one. And I think Maxi Gawn will just take the piss like he does pretty much every week. But yeah, those are my tips from the 6 games. So let's go back over them. I tipped Melbourne over Collingwood. I tipped the Giants over North. I tipped St Kilda over Brisbane. That is a huge call. But yeah, I reckon the Saints, fresh off the bye, they'll be too good. They'll be good enough, I think, to get the job done. Tipping Freo over Hawthorn. That is a danger game though, especially if it rains. I'm tipping Carlton over Essendon. And I'm tipping Richmond over Port Adelaide by 16 points. So those are my round 13 tips. But just before we go, like we do every week, we're going to check the ladder. And yeah, this is the ladder after, what is it? Round 12, I should say. So yeah, this is the ladder after round 12. So in first, we have Ben P on 74 tips. He is dominating at the moment. Ben P, I think he's getting, he got 4 this week, which was, yeah, same as me, obviously. We got Khan the Catters, who was overtaken. In fact, me and Khan the Cat, or Sam H, whatever he prefers to be called, yeah, have overtaken Shannon Humphries, which is huge. Shannon got 0. Shannon got 0. Oh, that's the first 0 I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. What is going on, Shannon? You got 0, bro. What's going on? Yeah, me. So, yeah, the top 3, me, Sam H, and Ben P, all got 4 this week. So, yeah, Shannon's dropped down to 4th. He's still level tips with me. Currently, is a couple tips in front, but I'm starting to close in. Angus is in 5th. He's on 66. He's not far behind. He got 3 this week, though. Victor B is in 6th. He's on 63 tips. He got 4 as well this round, so good on him. We got Louis in 7th. He's on 61 tips. And he got 3 this week as well. And then down the bottom, as always, we got Lincoln Barton, who got 4 this week though. So good on him. Good on him. He got 4, like the most of us. But yeah, he's on 56. He's getting closer. Watch out, Louis. He's getting closer. But yeah, so yeah, pretty interesting. A lot of movement after round 12 on the ladder wise. But yeah, anyway, shout out to all these people who have joined the tipping comp. You guys are absolute legends. Join the tipping comp, link down below in the description. But yeah, those are my round 13 tips, and that is my ladder after round 12. So there we go, guys. Those were my round 13 tips for this upcoming round. Comment down below your tips in the comments below. Comment down below how your team went on the weekend, or did your team have a bye? Comment down below how you went in the tips down below. Join my tipping comp, link down below in the description. I think I forgot to say that last week, but yeah, go join it. It's in the link down below, and it's also in the pinned comment. If you want to join and you're a big tipster like me and the other guys in the comp that you saw. Yeah, apologies, like I said, I am battling a little bit of a cold. I'm starting to feel a bit better, but yeah, bit by bit I'll sort of get better there. Yeah, also tomorrow is my last exam. I've got science tomorrow, and then that is it. I'm finished my exams for semester 1, so then I'll be able to get well, I've got 2 other videos apart from the tipping video that I've got planned to get out on the long weekend, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be really exciting. Hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!